I never thought a smell could break me. Not a message, not a photo, not even a lipstick mark, just a smell. But the night my wife came home wearing a perfume I'd never smelled before, something inside me shifted. I didn't know it then, but that soft floral scent was the beginning of the end of everything I believed in. If stories like this pull you in, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe. It really helps me keep sharing what real people go through. My name's Jason Hale, 34, married for 6 years to Mia. We used to be that couple everyone envied. Travel pictures, weekend brunches, inside jokes no one else got. I trusted her the way you trust breathing. You never question it until the air changes. It started small. Mia had been distant for weeks. Nothing dramatic, just tiny things you don't notice until they pile up. She'd smile while looking at her phone, but when I'd ask what was funny, she'd say, just work stuff. Her late-night projects became routine. I tried to ignore it. I didn't want to be the paranoid husband. Then came the perfume. It was a Thursday. She came through the door wearing a light beige coat I'd never seen before and carrying takeout from her favorite Thai place. I hugged her, and that's when it hit me. The scent. Expensive, sharp, foreign. Not the vanilla rose kind she'd always worn. This one was different, deeper, with a hint of amber and something musky underneath. New perfume? I asked casually. She smiled, too quickly. Oh yeah, Sophie recommended it. Said it was trending. Sophie was her coworker, the one always posting boomerangs from wine bars. I nodded, pretending not to care. But inside, something felt wrong. The scent lingered on my shirt long after she'd walked away, almost mocking me. That night, she showered before coming to bed, a thing she rarely did unless she'd gone to the gym, which she hadn't. When she laid down beside me, I noticed she'd put on her old vanilla body mist again, as if trying to cover the other perfume. I stared at the ceiling for hours. My mind built stories I didn't want to believe. Maybe she'd been testing a friend's scent. Maybe Sophie really had recommended it. But why hide it after? The next morning, Mia left early for meetings. Her perfume, the new one, still hung faintly in the hallway. I went to the bathroom, found the bottle sitting neatly on her vanity. The label read Velvet Ember, designer brand, easily over $200. She'd never bought perfume that pricey before. Curiosity turned to something darker. I grabbed my phone and searched it online. First ad I saw said, seductive, intimate, for nights meant to be remembered. It wasn't the tagline of a woman buying perfume for work meetings. Later that day, I met Chris, my best friend, for coffee. I told him about the new scent, how it didn't feel right. He laughed it off at first. Bro, maybe she just wanted to spice things up. You're overthinking. Maybe he was right. I wanted him to be right. So that evening, I decided to surprise Mia, cook dinner, light candles, show her I still cared. I even picked one of our old songs to play softly in the background. She came home late again, her hair slightly messy, cheeks flushed, eyes a little too bright. That same perfume, Velvet Ember, clung to her. Wow, she said, glancing at the table. What's all this? Just missed you, I said. For a second, guilt flickered in her eyes. Then she smiled and kissed my cheek. But when she leaned closer, I could smell something else mixed in. Male cologne, faint but there. My chest tightened. We ate mostly in silence. She said she'd been busy, and I nodded through it. After dinner, she scrolled through her phone on the couch, texting someone rapidly. I asked who it was. She said, Sophie again, showing me a message thread full of harmless office talk. But one thing bugged me. The timestamps were inconsistent. Some messages were older, reused screenshots maybe. I didn't push it, but the seed was planted. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay there beside her, listening to her breathing, wondering how many secrets fit between two people sharing the same bed. Around 2 a.m., her phone lit up. A notification flashed for just a second. See you tomorrow, JK, before fading. No name, just a number. My heart stopped. I wanted to check the phone, but I didn't. Not yet. Because the moment I did, whatever I found would make everything real. The next morning, she was gone before I woke up. The perfume lingered stronger than ever. I sat at the edge of the bed, holding that empty silence in my hands. Something in me said this wasn't coincidence anymore. Over the next few days, I watched her. I tried not to, but I did. Every little detail. She'd dress nicer for meetings, spend more time doing her hair, hum while texting. Once, she even left the house without her wedding ring, claiming she forgot. Friday night, I decided I couldn't keep guessing. I told Chris I was thinking of following her, not because I didn't trust her, but because I needed peace of mind. He said, "If you really think she's hiding something, you deserve the truth." So I waited for the next time she said she had a work dinner. I memorized the address she mentioned, a restaurant downtown. But when she left that evening, I followed. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel, heart pounding like I was the one doing something wrong. She didn't head downtown. She turned onto a quieter street, stopped near a small boutique hotel. I parked a few cars back, lights off, barely breathing. She stepped out, checked her reflection in the car window, sprayed Velvet Ember once more, and walked inside. I sat there, frozen, watching her disappear through those glass doors. Minutes felt like hours. I didn't see anyone meet her, just that faint golden light from the lobby reflecting off her hair. I told myself maybe it really was a work event. Maybe I'd misread everything. But the perfume, the texts, the timing, it all lined up too perfectly. When she came home later that night, I asked how dinner was. "Good," she said, not looking at me. "Long." Then she kissed my cheek again. Same scent, same lie. That was the moment I knew something inside our marriage had already ended. And that perfume, it was the smell of goodbye. I couldn't sleep that night. The perfume, Velvet Ember, still lingered in the bedroom, faint but unmistakable. Every time I closed my eyes, I could smell it, like it was mocking me. I kept replaying the past few days in my head, trying to make sense of it. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I was just imagining things. But something in me said otherwise. The next morning, I tried to act normal. I hugged Mia as she left for work, kissed her cheek, smiled. I even said, "Have a great day, love," without letting my suspicion show. But inside, I felt like I was walking on a tightrope over a canyon. Every small thing she did, every glance, every word, felt loaded with hidden meaning. I decided to talk to Chris again. We met at our usual coffee shop, the one tucked in a quiet corner where no one could eavesdrop. "Man, I can't stop thinking about it," I said, stirring my coffee without looking up. "The perfume, her late nights, the texts, I don't know what's happening." Chris leaned back, eyes narrowing. "You're really worried she's hiding something from you, huh?" "Yeah," I admitted, "and I feel like I'm going crazy. I don't want to be that paranoid husband, but I can't ignore it either." He was quiet for a moment, then said, "Look, have you tried just asking her directly? Not accusing, just talking." I shook my head. "I can't. I feel like if I do, I'll blow it. Whatever it is, I don't want to ruin it by confronting her wrong." Chris sighed. "All right, but don't let it eat you alive. If it's nothing, you'll regret doubting her. And if it's something, well, you'll find out soon enough." I nodded, but it didn't help much. Every time I thought about it, my chest tightened. That evening, I decided I'd follow her again, just for my peace of mind. Mia left the house looking as composed as ever. She waved at me, kissed me on the cheek, and said, "See you later, honey." I watched her walk to her car, heart thumping. My car followed her at a distance. She drove not downtown, not to the usual work spots, but through quiet suburban streets I didn't recognize. I kept my distance, heart pounding with every turn she made. Eventually, she stopped at a small boutique flower shop. I parked across the street, careful not to be seen. She went inside and emerged a few minutes later, carrying a large bouquet of roses. My chest twisted. I had expected something bad, something I couldn't control. But instead, she was carrying flowers. Curiosity took over. I followed her again, this time a bit closer. She drove to the outskirts of the city, to a small park with a lake and a wooden gazebo. My mind raced. What could she possibly be doing out here at this hour? Mia set the flowers down, adjusted them carefully, and then pulled out a small box from her bag. My stomach dropped. What was that? Jewelry? A gift for someone else? My mind spun, imagining every possibility. Then she smiled, a soft, almost shy smile. She looked around as if expecting someone, and that's when I noticed the little sign she was carrying in her other hand. "Happy anniversary, Jason." I froze. My heart, which had been racing with dread, slowed as realization hit me like a wave. The perfume, the late nights, the mysterious texts, they were all part of a secret she had been planning for our anniversary, which was coming up in 2 days. I watched her set up the flowers, open the box, revealing a small photo album. Memories of our years together, from our first date to our wedding to all the little moments we'd captured over the years. She had spent weeks planning this, sneaking around, keeping it a secret. A mix of relief, guilt, and awe hit me at once. I felt stupid, yes, for doubting her, but also grateful. Grateful that she loved me enough to go to such lengths. I waited a little longer, then stepped out of my car, walking toward her slowly. "Mia," I called softly. She turned, surprised, and then laughed lightly when she saw me. "You found me," she said, holding the album up. I should have trusted you," I whispered, approaching her. My voice shook a little. I thought you were hiding something." She smiled, tears in her eyes. "I was hiding something, just not the way you feared. I wanted to surprise you." She handed me the album. "Look, I wanted to remind us of everything we've been through. And yes, the perfume. I wanted it to be a part of the surprise, special, memorable, something you'd never expect." I flipped through the album, each photo bringing a smile, each memory bringing warmth. The perfume wasn't a symbol of betrayal. It was a hint, a part of the setup for the surprise she had been planning. My guilt hit me hard. I had let suspicion cloud my love for her, let paranoia and fear take over. I realized how close I had been to destroying something beautiful because I hadn't trusted her. We walked back to the car together, holding hands, the tension between us dissolving with each step. She laughed, nudging me gently. "I can't believe you followed me," she said. "I'm sorry," I said, looking down, feeling embarrassed but relieved. I wanted to know the truth." "And you do," she said softly. "Now, let's go home. We have an anniversary to celebrate." That night, back at home, we went through the photo album together. I laughed, cried, and held her close, feeling a connection stronger than ever. The perfume, which had haunted me for days, now smelled like love, like care, like every little effort she had made to keep our bond alive. I never thought a smell could teach me a lesson, but it did. It reminded me that trust is fragile, that fear can distort reality, and that sometimes the things we dread are the very things that bring joy. I learned that night that love isn't just about the good days, the perfect moments, or the obvious gestures. It's about believing in the other person even when things seem unclear. And for the first time in weeks, I slept peacefully, knowing that Mia and I were stronger than ever. I woke up the next morning with a strange mix of relief and guilt pressing against my chest. Relief because the tension of the past few days, the perfume, the secretive texts, the unexplained late nights, had been nothing more than a beautiful misunderstanding. Guilt because I had allowed my imagination to spiral out of control, letting doubt creep into a relationship that had always felt solid, safe, and sacred. Mia was still asleep, soft sunlight spilling across the room, brushing over her hair. I watched her for a moment, mesmerized by how peaceful she looked, how unsuspecting of the storm I had conjured in my mind. I silently vowed never to let suspicion take root like that again. But I also realized I needed to make up for the tension I'd caused, not just with words, but with action. I got out of bed carefully, trying not to wake her, and made my way to the kitchen. Coffee first, I needed it more than anything, but I also had another plan brewing in my mind. If she had gone through all this effort for me, I wanted to show her the same love and thoughtfulness. Something simple, yet meaningful, that would echo the effort she had put into her secret anniversary surprise. I rummaged through the drawers, found a small box, and began assembling the ingredients for my own little gift. A framed photo of us laughing during last year's vacation, a handwritten note recalling the silly, intimate moments that only we understood, and a small bouquet of her favorite lilies I had picked up earlier that morning. It wasn't extravagant, it wasn't velvet or designer, but it was honest, heartfelt, and entirely ours. When Mia finally stirred and opened her eyes, I was sitting at the edge of the bed with the box in my hands. Her smile was sleepy, warm, and slightly teasing. "Good morning," she murmured. "Morning," I said softly, holding up the box. I wanted to do something for you too, for us." She took it from me, raising an eyebrow. "Oh, this should be interesting." She opened the box carefully, and when she saw the photo and the note, her eyes widened slightly. "Jason," she whispered, voice thick with emotion, "you remembered all of this?" I nodded. I did. And I realized something over the past few days. I realized that love, trust, they're not just words. They're actions, small moments, and believing in each other even when things seem confusing. She laughed softly, a small tear forming at the corner of her eye. "You're ridiculous," she said, brushing it away. "But I love you." "I love you too," I said, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders. "I'm sorry for doubting you. I shouldn't have let suspicion cloud everything we've built. You deserve my trust, always." We hugged tight, as if trying to make up for the tension that had been lingering. The scent of velvet ember lingered faintly in the air, but now it smelled different, warm, comforting, like a reminder of her thoughtfulness and love. That day, we spent it walking around the park where I had first discovered the flowers, laughing and reminiscing. She told me about the weeks she had spent secretly preparing the anniversary surprise, about the moments she had thought I'd never notice, and how she had worried I might feel left out. I told her about the fear, the suspicion, and the guilt I had carried over those days, and she listened, holding my hand, reassuring me that it was okay, that what mattered was that we understood each other now. By evening, I felt a clarity I hadn't had in weeks. The fear that had gripped me was replaced by gratitude and a renewed sense of connection. I realized that sometimes what seems like betrayal or distance can be an act of love misunderstood, a gesture not yet revealed. And sometimes it takes patience, observation, and an open heart to see the truth. That night, we sat together on the couch, surrounded by soft light and the lingering scent of her perfume. I had brewed her favorite tea, and we talked about everything. Our past, our future, the silly things that had always made us laugh, and the quiet moments that made our bond unbreakable. I knew one thing for certain. Trust was fragile, yes, but it was also resilient. We had both been reminded of that, in our own ways. Her surprise had been a testament to her love and care, and my effort to create my own little gift was a testament to mine. It was a cycle of understanding, patience, and heartfelt gestures that would carry us forward. As I watched Mia close her eyes, leaning against my shoulder, I felt a deep sense of peace. The perfume, which had started as a symbol of uncertainty, had transformed into a symbol of love, thoughtfulness, and connection. I had learned a powerful lesson. Never let fear cloud judgment, never assume the worst, and always believe in the heart of the person you love. The story wasn't just about a perfume or a misunderstanding or even a secret surprise. It was about the fragility and strength of love, the mistakes we make, and the ways we make amends. And as I held her close, breathing in the scent that haunted me and now comforted me, I knew that Jason and Mia, our story, was stronger than ever. Because love isn't always perfect, it isn't always easy, but when it's nurtured, respected, and understood, it's unbreakable. And for the first time in weeks, I slept that night with complete peace, holding Mia close, the lingering scent of velvet ember, a gentle reminder that sometimes the things we fear the most are the things that bring the deepest joy. Next,